Alright, so we're back with our fresh 9-volt batteries. We bought a 2-pack of 9-volt batteries. Because this was our multimeter that's down, we also broke out our old Snap-on EEDM 525. We really like this multimeter. This is a pretty old multimeter. I think we bought this after we bought the Veris Edge because this one still does internal amps. This has I think a 1 amp and a 10 amp fuse inside, and it'll let you directly measure amps where you like unplug the battery's ground cable, you connect one lead to the ground cable, one lead to the battery, and then you measure your amps directly. When this Veris Edge came out, it had no amp input, just 4 channels, and you had to use a probe for an amp input. This mattered for me as a tech in the field because when we're trying to measure for parasitic draw for battery drain, we're looking at like 50 milliamps. And so I'm always afraid that these inductive probes might lose a little bit of resolution down low based off of where the wire's sitting in the middle of the opening, even though I could be totally wrong on that. But here we are on. I like this Snap-on tool because it's got a color screen on it. For a little multimeter to have a color screen is really cool. Something else is in the debate of is Snap-on better than Fluke or is Fluke better than Snap-on? Snap-on makes the more expensive tool. For those of you guys who thought that Fluke was the best because of how expensive it was, you should go and buy a Snap-on meter. Yeah, but I do have Fluke leads, so we're good. The first thing we want to do, of course, is test our batteries. So I changed the batteries in this, and there was a 2-pack, so I still have 1 new battery that's going to go in here. I'm not sure which one it is at this point. So this is ground, and this is positive. We're at 8 volts. So this battery, I think, is the one that was out of the meter. I think this battery's dead. This battery has blue in it. This was the battery that was in here. This should be at 0 volts, to be honest with you, because when I took it out of my box, it was in the on position. So this battery should be 0. Yeah, 1.8. This battery's toast. This should be the other new battery. This should still be above 9 volts. Yes. 9.7. So this is the battery we're working with. These 2 batteries are trash. Like I was saying earlier, the ground pin is corroded pretty good. I don't know if you guys can see that blue. I'm trying to get it to focus, but yeah, it's the ground pin. So we're going to sand it down gently with a little bit of emery cloth and some oil. I don't think the oil type really matters. I'm going to use a little drop of this here synchro mesh because it's what I have laying around. The idea of it though is just that we don't want to sand any metal away. We just want to sand away the corrosion so the battery will still fit tight, right? If we start sanding down the terminal, it'll fit in the battery loose. We'll make a good connection, and it still won't make a good connection. So put this on. Throw that on. And the power light works. You can see it. Off. 100 millivolts per amp. 10 millivolts per amp. Beautiful. These are resolution sensors for the low amp probe. The meter, like I'm telling you, does not directly measure amps, it only measures volts. So these are settings on the meter for whether 10 millivolts, 1 amp of current equals 10 millivolts, or 1 amp of current equals 100 millivolts on here. And this is for what resolution you get to see, and you want to tune it to what range of voltage you're looking at. Okay. And now that this is back together, we can get the table cleaned up, and we can finally get started on trying to look at amps from this Factory 5 Roadster. One last thing I want to do real quick is I had a couple of fuses laying around. I would love to be able to start using this again. The problem with this is I kept blowing fuses on it, and I ended up going to get one from I think Home Depot or somewhere where it had easier to change fuses, or fuses that I could get to or something like that. But I miss using this one. Okay, first off, open loop. We'll do a test. Yay. This fuse is blown. This fuse holy crap, is good. Woo! Well, that's just good news. How many amps is this? Oh my gosh. This is the 1 amp fuse. I can't believe this one isn't blown. Normally it's the 10 amp fuse that you get to last. When you're looking at amp draw, if you open the car door, the amp load suddenly spikes to like 8 or 10 volts, or 8 or 10 amps, as it is as all the interior lights come on and everything else, and the modules wake up and stuff like that. And so if you're looking at that with a 1 amp fuse, when you hit that heavy load, it just pops the fuse. And that's a difficult thing. Anyway, back to it. Let me clean up this mess a little bit, and we'll get busy on looking at the voltage, or looking at the amperage draw on this Cobra.